Good morning, everybody. We're going to get started here in just a tad. My TikTok says 6 a.m. Top of the morning to everybody out there in Periscope land. Good morning. My name is James W. Falcon, and this people, is the final entry of the Dreamcatcher's Journal. I dressed for the occasion. How about that? This is entry number 9. Entry number 9 in my series, The Dreamcatcher's Journal. And I'm going to take a couple of seconds and kind of do a slow roll in my open, excuse me, to give a few more people a chance to join us. But I'm thrilled. I got to be honest with you. This is amazing. Periscope is freaking amazing. Just the reach that this thing provides, and plus it's so brand new that it's just ridiculous. I mean, you think that so many people are out using this social medium on planet Earth. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining. When you think of the number of people that are out there periscoping, doing their live broadcasts on planet Earth, but yet when I scroll through, there are never any more than 60. And that's really generous. Never any more than 60 scopes going on at one given time. So, excuse me. So that just lets you know that this is so brand new. Otherwise, it'd be hundreds. I can go from those 3 main scopes at the top all the way to the bottom of the list in like 2 seconds. I mean, the day is coming when that list should be super, super long because it's planet Earth. I mean, and, people... at least in the areas where there are good signals and so forth across the planet, are going to really tear this thing up. So I feel like I'm in here at a really, really good time. So let me backtrack for a quick second while everybody's kind of joining us. We've been averaging anywhere from, good morning, thanks for joining. We've been averaging anywhere from 60 to 100 people watching this broadcast live. And that's significant, not because I'm special, but because you're special and because you see the value in what this is. My name is James W. Falcon, and this series is called Dreamcatcher's Journal. And what I created this series to do is to encourage you meaning those of you out there that have a dream that you haven't acted on yet. You haven't put anything in motion. It's just something that's burning in your heart and your head, and you're trying to figure out, well, what do I do with this thing? What do I do about it? How do I bring it to life? And it's for folks out there that have a dream, and you've been making steps and strides to fleshing the dream out. You've been wanting to bring it to life. You've been doing things. You've had a few meetings. You've made some financial investments. You've probably drawn up a blueprint. Yes, I can speak. A blueprint. And so you're on your way. So to both groups of people, here I am, a dreamer as well. And what I wanted to do is talk about the ugly side of pursuing your dream, because you don't hear that often. When you do, it's always a big Hollywood movie, but you don't hear the average actor, author, sports figure talk about the muck and the mire and the jazz and all the junk. Thank you so much for joining, that they came through before they were recognized. Now, I'm nobody. Thank you for the heart. I am an average Joe, your everyday guy. I'm your neighbor next door. Hey, how you doing? I'm your neighbor next door. I'm the guy you wave to in the morning, as we're both going to work. Hey, how you doing, neighbor? Hey, you might not even know my name. I'm that guy in your neighborhood. There's nothing special about James W. Falcon, except I've had a dream. Hey, wow, really? Okay, thanks so much. Where is that? Where is that exactly? Tell me, what continent? Help me globally to understand where that is, because wherever you're from, I'm so thankful that you joined. Thanks so much for joining. So I'm your average Joe, and I had a dream. Thank you for the heart. I had a dream, everybody, about a year ago. So background: I'm an author. I'm a poet. I've written 8 encouragement-based books. Thank you for joining. I'm not on the New York Times bestseller list. I'm not on any bestseller list at this point, but I have a dream to be. But before the list and all the acknowledgement, I just wanted to take what was in my 3 H's, head, heart, hands, and I wanted to put it in a book. I wanted to leave a legacy on humanity, make a mark while I'm here living and breathing, and I wanted to write. So this is the 8th book in the series that I've created that's called Quick But Powerful Reads. It's quick but powerful reads because the books are never any longer than 25 to 30 pages. They're basically like quick reads, and then you take what's in the books and what the points are that I'm wanting to convey, and you absorb them. Hopefully they're impactful, and you pass that book along to somebody else. Well, this book here is my 8th, and as you can see from its thickness, it is 3 times as large as all of the other books. This is almost 70 pages. And this is nothing but poetry. It's my 3rd book of poetry, 8th book overall. But what I realized in this 8th book making process was that I was being challenged in ways that I wasn't during the previous 7, and I wanted to talk about those challenges. I had never before thought to just scrap a whole project that I was working on until I started this. I never before really started second guessing myself until I started doing this book. This book was the game changer for me. So it's not that it was super difficult or overly frustrating. It was just that I paid attention to what I was going through, because sometimes you're so used to plowing through, especially if you are type A personality or a type B that's close to the A mark. Thank you so much for joining. Close to that A border, right? If you're driven, is my point, sometimes you don't notice the things because you're going to get it done. And I was in that mode. Excuse me. And then at one point in time, I stopped. I paused for a second. Excuse me. Let me take a drink here. I paused for a second. I was like, man, thank you for joining. I said, it'll be really cool if I map this whole thing out and then present this in some kind of way. Gee, where am I going to present this? What's the best medium? Fraternity brother of mine, dear friend, we talk every day. He said, Fal, why don't you go ahead and put it on Periscope? And I'm like, nah, I'm not really a Periscope kind of guy. Long and short, here I am, and this is what I'm sharing. Again, I'm an everyday Joe. Wrote a book. Put some thoughts and ideas on a piece of paper, and I thought, if there's anybody out there on this rock called Earth that could benefit from this, let's just talk about that. So that's who I am. That's what I'm doing. Do me a favor, real quick. Shout out where you're from. I saw a couple of friends do that. Where's everybody from? I'm coming to you live from Baltimore, Maryland, right here on the East Coast. Right down the road from us is the nation's capital of the United States, so Washington, D.C. So that's where I am, who I am, what I'm doing. Who are you? Where are you scoping from? Where are you joining me from? Shout that out for me. All right, so Dreamcatcher's Journal. This is the final segment. I wish I could have taped the previous segments because they were electric. I came out of my shell a couple of times and really let some emotions and things pour because I wanted people to get it. This is not me. I'm not an expert. I'm not certified to say anything to you. But I am qualified to encourage because we all are, right? So if you can understand that principle. I've got 3 degrees, but never mind all that. Got tons of experience in the work in the business world. Never mind all that. What I wanted to come to you from is heart to heart, me to you, and talk about your dreams. Now, before I get started on the topic tonight, and by the way, the topic tonight is no excuses. There's greatness to be gained. No excuses. There's greatness to be gained. Thank you so much for joining. This is the final segment of the Dreamcatcher's Journal. This is entry number 9 in the journal. I'm a journaling kind of guy. I like to write stuff down, and I wanted to do that. And then this is kind of like the video version of that journal. So, here's what we're going to do. So, thank you so much for joining. That looks like Ukrainian or Russian to some degree, if I'm not mistaken. I believe, friend, you've joined us before. So I'm so appreciative that you are back. I mean, look, we've got this kind of a reach. I sat at this table right behind me. You guys see my workbench? This is my table. You can't see the actual surface of it. You see my books and all. Thank you so much for joining, y'all. Appreciate it. I sat right at this table. Thank you for joining. I sat right at this table 6 years ago in October 2010, and I cried. I cried because my life was a mess. Thank you for joining. I cried because I had lost someone very dear. I had a relationship that disintegrated. And even though that was the year that I got my master's, it was the darkest year. Oh, and by the way, thank you so much for joining. Oh, from Habibi. Wow, that's awesome. My mother passed away in 2010. So there was nothing that I found the need to celebrate. I mean, I was down in the dumps. I was discouraged. Thanks for joining. I was distraught. I was deflated. I had all this knowledge, head knowledge, but I didn't have a platform to need to want to celebrate in my heart. I was busted. I was broken. I was jacked up on so many different levels, emotionally, spiritually, psychologically, mentally, financially. I mean, I was just a mess. And I guess I had what you'd call a nervous breakdown, or I hit the wall, or whatever the case may be. Thank you so much for the hearts. I'm just being real. I hope you don't mind. And I sat right here at this bench, right here at this table, right here in this room. Am I a pastor? You know, it's funny you ask. Somebody asked me that one time before. I used to be in a life long time ago. I used to be a pastor. I pastored the church for a minute or two. Thanks so much for all the hearts. I still do ministry work, but not on that level. I do some preaching every once in a while. But I am probably one of those. Thank you so much for all the hearts. I'm one of those kind of guys where you're liable to find me anywhere, right? I'm not one of those kind of ministers, and I'm not throwing shade on any of the others, but I'm not one of those kind of ministers that, you know, is so in a bubble, and that's just where I live and I stay. You know, you'll have to find me in a bar, you'll have to find me in a club. I'm a house music junkie. I could be somewhere anywhere, trying to connect with people. And so apart from that, and thank you for that honest question. Hope that was an honest answer. Oh, thanks for all the hearts. Y'all, listen, if I say anything at all that you would like, appreciate, feel like it's useful, hit me up with some hearts if you don't mind. It makes me feel good. So thank you. No, thank you, friend. I appreciate you. So when I sat at this workbench, I could hear the voice of a good friend of mine say, James, be encouraged. Would love to listen, but I should go to sleep. I understand. Listen, you know, Periscope, the videos will be up for 24 hours. So if you can't hang in there with me right now, then check out the post on Periscope. It'll be there till this time tomorrow. So bless you, friend. Have a good night. Cool? We'll see you next time. And hey, do me a favor. Take down my email address, encouragementiskey2013@gmail.com. Let's communicate at some point in time. And that email address is for everybody. Make note of that email address. Why? Because if you hang in there with me till the end of this, thank you for joining. What I want to do is I want to give away the electronic version of this book of mine called The Excerpt. I guess I never said the title yet, have I? Excerpts from the Journal of an Aging Man is what my book of poetry is called. Poems of Reflection. Excerpts from the Journal of an Aging Man, Poems of Reflection. Some of my best work to date. 2014, thanks for joining. 2015, y'all. Poetry was flowing. Like I was scared. I'd sit at this workbench, be in the car at a stoplight, you know, on my way to do something with my children or my grandchildren. Yes, I'm a father and I'm a grandfather. Is this about astral projection? No. This is about, it's close, but this is about having a dream. That's what this is about. This is about having a dream and then pursuing that dream, right? Starting the steps in the process to make your dream come to life. And I'm talking about the kind of dreams that you have with your eyes open. Got me? Cool. I'm talking about those kind of dreams. But here's what I'm talking about, friend. I'm talking about the ugly side of your dreaming and fleshing out process. What I'm talking about is all the stuff you don't hear about. Today I'm going to specifically address, you know, again, the title of this one, thank you for the hearts. The title of this one is called No Excuses, There's Greatness. I'm looking at my notebook here. No excuses, there's greatness to be gained. What I'm talking about is this. I'm talking about the fact that you should never let anything stop you from pursuing your dreams. Never. Don't let anything stop you. And I'm going to get into the nitty-gritty of that in just a second. Got to flap my gums about a few more things before we jump in, right? So here's the situation. When I sat at this table, I heard somebody, of the voice of a friend of mine from years ago, and he used to always say to me, he was my pastor. He was my very first pastor. And he used to say to me when I come to church and when I call him on the phone, he would say, I was 23 years old and I'm 45 now. And he would say to me, Brother James, you be encouraged, son. That's what he would say to me. Big man. He's about 6'6", 6'7". I'm 6'3", right? So I looked up to this cat and I really admired him because he was a real dedicated, sincere person. You all know when real identifies with real. Thank you so much, the last two of you that joined. I appreciate it. You know when real identifies real. If you are a real, sincere person, you can look into the face and the eyes of a person that you're talking to and go, yep, They're real. Thank you for joining. Right? You know that. Or you can look into the face and the eyes of the person and go, yeah, nope. No substance there, or nothing that I want. People come in and out of these Periscope broadcasts because they do that. They look, they check out what people are saying. People do it here all the time, and they go, yeah, this is not for me. And I get it. To each his own. So I did that whole, process with this man, and I could hear his voice. And he would always say to me, every time I talked to him on the phone, every time I was in his presence, he would greet me and leave me with be encouraged. So you know what I'm doing? You know what I'm doing today, 22 years after those seeds were sown, is I'm sharing the message of encouragement. You're not going to see me break out my Bible. You're not going to see me talk to you and take scripture and verse and go up onto a platform or a pulpit. No, what I'm going to do is sitting right here in my lab, in my studio, my bedroom, don't tell nobody, I'm going to tell you how important it is for you to be encouraged as you pursue your dreams. Here's mine. And I got a whole stack of books right here over my left shoulder that are my previous 7 books. And I've got a book over here, thank you for joining, that is in its rawest form as a draft. It's a book about leadership. People, this is a real thing for me. I discovered something, and I'm just so pumped that I want to share it with you. But I want to share it with you from the standpoint of, business and life kind of goes like a calendar, right? You go through different seasons. Springtime is when you get that idea, and it's like, hey, oh, happy, you are excited, you are pumped. You like that little dance I'm doing? I'm pumped this morning. I'm a morning person, if you can't tell. Spring is when you get that idea, and you're like, man, this is awesome. I'm going to take the world. We started from the bottom, now we're here. You just are all over the place with joy and excitement, right? That's spring. Summer, here in Baltimore, it gets hot here in Baltimore. It gets sticky. We're right on the coast, so when we get heat, we get humidity and heat. You don't get a chance to just sweat. You've got to suffer. That's what Baltimore summer is like. And when we cross from July to August, man, you are sweating bullets standing still. Breathing is a hard thing in this joint here in Baltimore when it comes down to heat. So, but your life and business and your dream pursuit is going to be a springtime. Yay, oh, happy day. A summertime when you're going to suffer a little bit. It's going to definitely be a fall where you notice a change. And it's going to also be, excuse me again, you're going to also go through your winter times where you need to store up. You can go through your winter times when it's going to be cold, it's going to be bitter. You got to keep the tips of your fingers warm, right? You got to huddle up either with somebody or get some extra layers of clothing for yourself. That's going to be what's going to happen in your pursuit of your dream. You're going to go through all these different changes. And at different points in time, you're going to say to yourself what I always post on Twitter. Either I'm on to something or I need to be on something, right? That's what you're going to wind up saying to yourself. Like, I have got to be nuts or I'm spot on, and what's in my head, my heart, and in my hands is going to be a world-changing kind of a situation. So that's what I'm talking about. Thanks for joining. Excuse me. And so you're going to go through all of those different changes as you pursue your dreams. That's what I did. I wrote these books, this writing process. Hey, how you doing? Where you from? This writing process started when I was down in the dumps, head in my hands, sitting in this very chair, at this very desk, trying to wonder how in the hell did I get to this place? Why am I so broken? Why do I feel like ending it all? But before I could do that, all I could think about was be encouraged. Wait one more second. Come down off the ledge. Don't cut your wrist. Don't put the gun in your mouth or to your head. Slow down. Pump the brakes. Pull the car over and just wait a minute. That's what I did. 6 years later, can I tell you what's exciting? All of you on this broadcast are coming, to this broadcast from different places on planet Earth. When I sat at this desk in October, November 2010, I wondered, how could I talk to folks all around the planet? That's what my dream was. That was a part of a dream. And now I'm sitting here at 6:19 in the morning in my bedroom in front of Periscope on my cell phone broadcasting to the planet and telling people about the message of encouragement as it relates to your dreams. It doesn't get any better than that. Listen, I called into a poetry show that I've been dialing into, excuse me, for the last year or so. It's a poetry show that's powerful. It's an open mic for poets to call in. It's one of the longest running open mics in the country. It's on Blog Talk Radio, and for those of you that don't know what that is, it's internet radio, right? It's a great setup, and it is co-hosted by two of the most fabulous people on the planet. The woman's name is Nyla Elysia, and she is just a super talented person. Anyway, so I'm dialing in. This was just last night, less than 24 hours ago. And at the end of the piece of poetry that I shared, you know what Nyla said to me? Nyla said, James, always love it when you call. But she said, James, I want you to do something for me. I'm going to give you some homework. And she said, it's not going to be easy. And I said, okay, go ahead and fire it up. Last time she gave me some homework, I wrote a piece of poetry that's in this book. Thanks for joining. This time she said, James, it's not going to be nearly that easy. I said, all right, fire. Shoot, what you got? She said, I want you to come on my show and do a poetry workshop. She was like, you've published now. You've had a few experiences. I want you, hey, thanks for joining. I want you to come on my show and do a poetry workshop. She said, you tell me the date and time and when you're ready, and we'll fire it up. You can either do it live or we can pre-record it. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. This dream is unfolding, people, is what I'm trying to share with you. It's unfolding at an unprecedented rate. Unprecedented rate. And it's one of those kind of things where, it's really exciting to experience this, because I had a simple thought in October, November of 2010. Thank you for the hearts. And this thing is materializing so amazingly. For those of you that are in and around the Baltimore metropolitan area, next month on the 18th, I'll be right down the street from my house here in East Baltimore. There's an art gallery not more than a block south of where I am right now. They've invited me to come in and to be their featured poet on the 18th of February. It's going to be at a place called Third Eye Thursdays. Why am I telling you all this? I'm not telling you this because I think I'm somebody. I'm trying to pump or gas you with how great James is, because my friends and family will tell you I'm not great at all. I put my pants on like everybody else. I do dumb stuff like everybody else. I say the wrong things at the wrong time like everybody else. I'm just going to be honest with you. The other day, this is real personal, right? The other day I went to the bathroom. Had to go to the bathroom really bad. I was at work. I had my underwear on backwards, people. That's who I am. That's the gutter part. I was like a 6-year-old. I was dancing, trying to go, and I was like, what the heck? I had my underwear on backwards. The slit was in the back. Is that every day enough for you or what? Yes, I may need to be on medication or have some counseling, but I'm just your regular guy. There's nothing special about me, except for the fact that I have an extraordinary passion to want to help and encourage people. So I don't know what category that places me in. Maybe you're the same kind of person. Maybe you're that kind. Maybe you had a dream. You've been carrying around a dream like a woman carries a child. Maybe you've been carrying around a dream that you haven't birthed yet, and it's tearing you to pieces. Mine did. Like, if I don't write a piece of poetry when it comes to me, it haunts me. It's like, James, I'm trying to get out. Let me get out. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, James, look, I need to get loose. Let me loose. Thanks for joining. That's what happens to poetry and ideas that come into this little brain. They start like knocking at a door. Asking me, hello, can you let me out? Asking me to release them into the universe. And that's what we need to do. The ugly side is this. So here's the topic this morning. Here's the topic. I'm flapping my gums for 23 minutes now, but let's just talk meat and potatoes, shall we? Topic today, Dreamcatcher's Journal. Entry number 9, last entry. No excuses. There is greatness to be gained. Whoever you are, I want to say this to you very honestly and sincerely. Don't die with that dream in your head and your heart. You're doing humanity a disservice. That's deep. It's deep as hell. I realize that. That's why I'm telling you. I'm not qualified to give advice. I am damn sure qualified to express some encouragement to you, because you are the game changer. Each and every one of you. We average anywhere from 60 to 100 people on this broadcast. Each and every one of you are game changers. You could be the next innovator like the people were that started jazz music. You could be the next innovator like the person was that invented the cell phone. You could be the next innovator like the person was that created the flat screen TVs. You think of all the stuff. I'm 45 years old. I was born in 1970. Do you know how many things that we use today were released, brought to life, a dream that was then conceived and became reality and is now a major part of our society? Do you know how many of those gadgets there are that have come to life just in my 45 years, short lifetime? I mean, the cell phone, flat screen TVs. I mean, I remember when the VCR came out, the joint was like this big. You remember that? The cell phone was like a shoebox. The thing was so daggone big, right? DVDs, CDs. I grew up in an era of 8-track tapes. That's how old I am. And then we had these little smaller units called cassettes. You remember them? You had to stick the head of your pencil in, thanks for joining, and rewind it. It was nuts. I grew up in the era of the boom box. I had one of those huge radios that everybody was walking around with. For those of you who are Spike Lee fans, I was Radio Raheem in my neighborhood. I was the cat with the big radio. And then when they came out with the dual cassette deck, I was the man. You couldn't say nothing to James Falcon, because I could take your tape and duplicate it at high speed. Anybody out there remember that? Shoot me some hearts if you do. Russia forever. I believe you, friend, like I believe Baltimore forever. Thanks so much for joining. To both of you. There you go. I see a heart. You know what I'm talking about. These were the innovations that we now enjoy. I remember when I was married. Thanks so much for joining. And I brought my daughter. I have 4 girls, 4 daughters. I brought my daughter to this house, which is the house I grew up in, the house my parents got married and moved into, house where my brother and I, you like to Russia? Do I like Russia? Absolutely. And I love Russians. I get a lot of support from Russia. As a matter of fact, some folks dialed in yesterday, a bunch of folks from Moscow. So love, nothing but love to you. And I remember coming to visit my mom when she was alive. And I brought my daughter, who is now 21, with me. At this point, she was like 6. And we were rummaging through the basement. There was boxes of stuff in the basement. And it didn't hit me. I grew up listening to the vinyl circles that we call records. Anybody know what I'm talking about? Hit me with some hearts if you do. My daughter and I are rummaging through these stacks of memorabilia, and she says, "Dad, what's this?" And she picks up a record, and I laughed like Santa Claus. Big old stomach went up and down. Why? Because it dawned on me that this child had never seen a record at 6 or 7 years old. By the time I married her mother, everything in our house was a cassette, barely, but they were CDs. DVDs hadn't even come out yet. Everything was a CD. And the child had never seen a record. What's my point in telling you all that? Did I want to walk down memory lane? Not necessarily. But I'll do anything to get this point across. I need you to think seriously today. This is my last broadcast. Will I do more? Every once in a while, I like to do one of these a month because I think it's important. And apparently, with the responses we've been getting, some other people have at least found it interesting, right? So I'll do some of these segments maybe once a month. But this is my last one for the series the way I've been doing it this week. I need you to get serious, my friend, about your dream, whatever it is. If it's a singular dream or dreams, I want you to be expressly serious by the time we end this broadcast. I want you to think about your dream. And here's what I want you to do. This is what I'm going to talk to you about. No excuses. No excuses at all. I don't want you to find, tap dance on, camp out on, consider. I don't want you to pull your car over and be at the rest stop of an excuse ever in this whole process. We can't afford it. There's something in you that I need. There's a legacy and a mark that you're going to make on humanity that my grandchildren need to read about in school. There's some pieces missing in my life, and you have them. You're holding them right now. There are some cards that I have yet to play because you have those cards. You're holding my trump cards. Am I guilt tripping you? Maybe. I'll do whatever I can to get you to understand my point. Am I guilt tripping you? Possibly. But I'm saying that out of love and respect for you and your awesome talent. You are the game changer, people. As individuals, each one of you are the freaking game changers. Hear me. You're holding the thing that somebody else on planet Earth desperately needs. There is a whole niche. There's a whole market. There's a whole demographic of people that need your product, your ideas, and I'm waiting for you to loose it right now. Get serious about your dreams, people. It's amazing. I was talking to a good friend of mine the other day. When I close my eyes and take that dirt nap for the final time, when I breathe my last breath, you know what I'm going to leave? I'm going to leave a legacy of tons of books. This is just the 8th of a series. I've got the 9th book already written. It's called Broke, the Brutality of Paycheck to Paycheck Living. You don't believe me? Let me show you. Let me show you. This is how real this is. Let me show you. This is the 9th book. No, I'm sorry. Let me back up. This is the 9th book. And you'll hear more about this in just a bit. This is called Leading Others, caring as the catalyst for performance improvement. My master's degree is in organizational leadership. What I like to do is I go into work settings and I teach leaders how to be more efficient, and I teach them putting the best. Yeah, I'm trying. I teach leaders how to interact better with their teams, and I teach team members how to respond more appropriately to their leaders. That's what I do. That's what my master's degree in. I'm a call center professional by trade. I build, I manage, I recruit for customer service call centers. I've got a team of my own. I work for a community college here in Baltimore, Maryland, doing just that. I've been doing call center stuff excuse me, for the past 20 years. And a good portion of that time I've been in leadership positions. Does that make me special? No. It just means that I have a particular passion and a way that I'm bent toward trying to help people. But what am I telling you? The 8th book came out last Friday, just a week ago. This broadcast is a little bit of a promotion toward that, but the 9th book is already written. Here's the 10th. Excuse me, I'm sorry. This was the 7th book. This was the 7th book. My apologies. I did a little Star Wars thing there. I gave you the last from the first. This book is called Broke: The Brutality of Paycheck to Paycheck Living. And so I got nothing but stuff in my head that I can't wait to share with the world. Is it a process of me wanting to make money? Absolutely. I think we can all definitely use, you're absolutely right, friend. We can all definitely use some additional streams of income. I don't think nobody would say no if somebody said, hey, if I could show you a way for you to create an additional stream of income, would you enjoy it? Nobody would say no to that. We all do. But this is not about money. This is about the fact that my books are soon. You can go to my website right now. It's Blurb, B, like boy, LURB.com. Go to that website. It's a publisher here in America. And that's where all of my books are published. That's where they're all bound together so they look attractive like this, right? It's a great place. So if you're a would-be author or something that you want to put in a book, check out blurb.com if you wouldn't mind. You can go to that page and you'll type in the search field, James W. Falcon, my name, and this book will come up, but only the electronic version. Do you know why? Because the electronic version is what I'm pushing and promoting. The hard print copies are going to soon be offered on Amazon, on Barnes & Noble, and other worldwide global book retailers. Everyday guy. The 8th book out of the group, I'm really trying to take to the next level. Why? Because I dreamt it. I have a dream to do something different with this 8th book. That's who I am. So you're going to be able to very shortly, you can go out to Blurb right now, order yourself the e-copy. It's a PDF. It's only $8. It's only $8. And you can have my book. Or here's what you can do. Hang in there with me till the end of the broadcast. The first 5 people, when I give my email address, the first 5 people that hit my inbox say, James, I heard you today. Thanks so much. I want a copy of your book, the electronic copy. You tell me that. The first 5 people that say that, I'm going to send you a free copy of my book. Why? Because my dream is to give away the first 20 copies electronically to people. That's just what I'm going to do. Hey, friend, I see you going to town there with your comments. Thanks so much for joining. I'm glad you're excited like I am. So the thing is that that's where I live. I am not going to die full of all of these ideas, because what point are they going to make in the afterworld? What sense is it to have them 6 feet under when the world could have benefited? Now, do I think so grandly of myself that I feel like I'm somebody special? I told you 40 million times earlier in this broadcast. No, I don't. But I feel like these ideas might. I feel like somebody can read this in a book, and I'm pushing to have this book on a library shelf. So I need my Library of Congress number, and I'm working on all those pieces. So you'll be able to go in and get this book for free to read, and all of the other books, and that pumps me. So no excuses for you, friend. If I can come from the brokenness of the mindset I had, sitting here at this desk in tears, holding my head in my hand, wondering what in the hell I was going to do, if I can go from that to being able to being a published author, and I'm definitely not the sharpest knife in the drawer, then you, friend, can do much, much better than that. So look, no excuses. I don't want to hear you say anymore, there's no time. There's plenty of time. Find the pockets of time that you need to find. and spend some time dreaming, or spend some time every day, or at least several times a week, working to flesh out your dream. You got to do that, friend. You got to do that. No excuses. No excuses. Well, I don't have the resources. Yeah, many of us don't. And I'm going to tell you a real personal story here in a second about resources. No excuses on the resource tip. Let me tell you why. Blurb.com has such an awesome setup. Do you know how much it cost me to produce this book? You know how much it cost? Pennies. Pennies. The way the Blurb process works, for example, for all of you all that want to use it, feel free. I don't want to be the only fish in the stream or the lake. It's way too much out here for you and I to both share in the possibilities of these individual markets out here. But the way Blurb works, thank you for joining, is when it's basically a do-it-yourself kind of kit. If you go out there, it's got everything you need to build your book. You can do your own graphics. You can do your own pagination with the book. You can choose what size book you want. This particular size is called trade size, all right? Whatever the size of the book is, they offer magazines. I mean, they are amazing. Their print quality is through the flipping roof. But guess what? Up until you finish your book online, you don't pay a thing. Nada. Zilch. Zero. You don't pay a thing. Until you want to get your copy of this and you want to hold it in your hand to proof it, then you pay whatever the cost is that the publisher assigns, and it's pennies to get the copy. And then after that, it lets you create a little profile so you can put a nice description up. It even assigns free of charge these ISBN numbers, this barcode on the back. I had no idea what that was for until I started this whole book writing, publishing process. It'll assign that. When I first started, ISBN numbers, you had to buy them from only 2 companies in America. And they were like $25 to $100 a piece for that barcode. Blurb.com will assign you that free when your bookmaking process. And it will connect you to the worldwide global book retailers network free of charge. So then you can go in, and I don't have any inventory here in my home, in my car. I don't travel with boxes of books. I tell people to go to blurb.com and get these books. So that is amazing for pennies. So what am I saying? Thanks so much for the heart. You understand what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that don't say that, well, I don't have resources. Nah, hogwash. I want to use some stronger, harsher language than that to get my point across. But I won't. I'll keep it kind of clean, right? Hogwash. No such thing as no resources. There's stuff out there. What I want to encourage you to do, friend, is in the time when you spend dreaming, take your lunch break at work. Go on the internet. Take the time just before you close your eyes at night, or those first few mornings when you wake up each morning, and get on the internet and research. Say you're going to spend 10 to 15 minutes a day searching the internet for the resources that are tailor-made for you to produce your project. There's no excuses. I did it. Again, meager intelligence. You're so much more braver and intelligent than I am. No excuses. Can't say lack of resource. Lack of money. Well, I just kind of explained to you. I can tell you in 7 books, the only money that I've spent of any significance is because I've chosen to when I was doing a poetry show. And I ordered, 50 to 100 books at a time from my publisher. There was a cost for that, but the profit that I made at those book sales absorbed that. And I was in the black. How about that as a pun, huh? I was in the black for my profit, for my sales, and for the money that I spent versus the money that I gained when I was selling my books. So money, lack of resources, lack of money is definitely not an excuse. No excuses, friends. There's greatness to be gained. Last point I want to share is there's no excuse. So if you say, well, James, I'm not savvy. I'm not internet savvy. I'm not business minded. I'm not, socially savvy. Yeah, neither was I. And I'm not saying that flippantly. And forgive me if there's this little hint of irritation. But I just need you to understand. I need you to hear me. I need you to hear me this morning. I need you to hear me, friend. You possess something of extraordinary value. You possess something that the world needs. You possess something that the world is waiting for. But you're that person standing at the counter and you're fumbling for your ID. You know that person. Salute, bro. Thank you. You too. You know that person that's standing there at the front of the line. They weren't ready. They were the second person, and when their number got come, and they're finally there after that long wait, like when you go to the Department of Motor Vehicles and you wait, you're like 55th, and you're there like, oh my goodness, you got to be kidding me. I'm gonna be here all my lunch break, right? It's gonna take me out, and then you're like number 4. You know what I'm talking about? You're in line. You're number 4, and you're like, man, I can't wait. I can't wait. Tupac Shakur, I hear you. You can't wait, and then you're number 2. And you're like, man, you're so pumped. Thank you for joining. And then you're the person, you're next, and you go up there, and then you start doing one of these numbers. You start fumbling, like you start going through your pockets because you weren't ready. So you're holding the line up. You're standing there fumbling. You know, it's the woman that's going, can I rap? No, I can't rap. I do poetry. A little bit of a difference, but I hear you. Mad respect for rap artists and hip-hop artists, but that's not necessarily my genre, right? By the way, I'm a big house music fan, not necessarily a modern-day rap fan. So I cut out of rap a little bit before Tupac. Love his music. I was more of a Biggie fan, but I only know a few pieces. I don't know a Tupac song. Sorry, my friend. So don't be that person fumbling. Hey, how you doing? Don't be that person fumbling. When it's your time, be ready. Get your ID. Sing a Biggie song? Nah, I can't do that. You want me to rhyme a little hypnotize? You want me to do that for you? Nah, I can't do that. All right. So, you know what I mean? Don't be the person that's holding the line up. Because we got stuff to do. And we're waiting for you. We got stuff to do, but we're waiting on you. You, friend, are holding us up. You got something that's magical, something supernatural, something amazing, something in your 3 H's. You ready? Head, heart, hands. Head, heart, hands. You've got something in your 3 H's that I need. I need you to do your due diligence and produce it. My life can be that much more enhanced because of you following your dream. There's no excuses, friend. Greatness is waiting for you. I'm James W. Falcon, folks, and thank you so very much for having joined. Thank you for joining. Let me give you a couple pieces of information. So, my email address, because I'm serious about this, I am dedicating I'm committing, thank you for all the hearts, really appreciate it, thank you. I'm committing to give my book away, the electronic copy. I'm going to give it to you free of charge. And look, I'm not going to sell your email address to anybody. I don't have anybody to sell it to. You can get. I don't have anybody to sell it to. I really don't. Like, I'm not that guy. I'm your average, everyday Joe. Look, you see me with my little tie and jacket on. Right after I end the broadcast, I'm going to do some more stuff hygienically, and I'm running to work. I'm an everyday dude. I haven't made it, quote unquote, right? I'm not a George and Wheezy person. I haven't moved on up yet. Okay? All right? So I'm not going to sell your email address. And unless you want me to not correspond with you anymore, I won't. You know, you won't hear me. I'm not going to be bothering you. I use social media for all my invites. I'm on Instagram at James W. Falcon. I got a YouTube channel out there at James W. Falcon. I'm on Facebook. Go to the Facebook page. Encouragement is key. Those 3 simple words. Simple 3 words. Encouragement is key. And you can do that for better. I possibly could. You know, if you want to follow me on Twitter, please do. My Twitter is the same thing as my Periscope name, James W. Falcon. But I'm committed to giving this book away because I believe that's the way the world works. Once you give away, you get that and plus right back at you. Hearts, I see them. Person that's sending them beautiful hearts, I'm sure they're respective of your gorgeous heart. Thank you so much that you're connecting with what I'm saying. Right? So I want to be able to give this book away, and I want to give it away. So the first 5 people, the first 5 I watched the first time. Thank you so much for coming back. I appreciate that. Hearts. I love them. The first 5 people that hit my inbox with just a simple, hey, James, checked you out this morning. Please send me a copy of your book. I'm going to send it to you. I'm just going to look at the timestamp. First 5 people, you get a free copy of this book. Excerpts from the Journal of an Aging Man, Poems of Reflection. It's just me at 45 versus me when I was 35 versus me when I was 25 versus me when I was 15. And I'm just talking about the things that I've observed in life. I'm talking about love. I'm talking about romance. I'm talking about lust. I'm talking about legacy. I'm talking about literature. I'm talking about leisure, like all of the different categories. I got something to say about them. And I'm not doing it in an angry, ranting fashion. I'm sharing things from an encouraging standpoint. If you are down, hang in there is my whole message. That's the whole message that I share. If you are down, be encouraged. If you are up, stay encouraged. That's the message. But I give it to you in a very creative form and fashion after 3 books. I really feel like I'm onto something with this particular book. Encouragement is Key 2013 at gmail.com is my Gmail address. Encouragement is Key 2013 at gmail.com. Hit me. First 5 people get a copy of my book by PDF. Now, excuse me, let me tell you a little bit about what's happening, and then we're going to close this broadcast, this 9th and final edition of the Dreamcatcher's Journal. Let me take a quick. Hold on. All right, here's what's happening. So I'm going to do these periodically. I don't know the schedule or time, so you got to follow me at Encouragement is Key, the Facebook page, because that's the hub. That's what I do and say and promote and, leave notes and messages for people to tell you what else I'm doing, where else I'm going to be, and how else I'm going to do it. I use that Facebook page. So dial into that. I mean, if you don't want to like it, I get it. I understand. If you don't want to be connected, you want to expose your information to me, I got that. I understand. I'm the same way. But just go on to Encouragement is Key's Facebook page every now and again, just to check in, if you wouldn't mind. If you want to, if you're so inclined to like the page, I would greatly appreciate that. You can see what I'm doing, right? So tomorrow I'm going to run a series. I'm starting a series right here on Periscope, and it's going to be called The Mud Room. And the series is for leaders and would-be leaders, people that thought, well, hey, let me try this leadership thing. Let me see if I can get myself into a team lead, supervisor, manager, or director or above position. What's leadership all about? I'm going to talk to you about the nuances of leadership. We're going to cover what leadership is. We're going to cover what leadership is not. We're going to manage and handle the definitions of leadership, and then ultimately where the series is going to go is that I'm going to share with you some principles that I've used for the past 12 to 15 years at least on how you can have some specific interactions with the members of your team and you can see performance improved considerably. 20%. Remember that. 20%. Thank you so much. The last 2 of you that popped up there. Thank you so much. 20%. Remember that. Because I can show you a way where you can interact with your team members and at least, the very least, see a 20% performance increase. I can tell you that. I do these things, and this is not magic. Hey, how are you? This is not magic at all. Trust me, if I'm doing it, it's just amazing that my little brain could wrap itself around it to even get these principles, let alone to put them in practice. But I have tons of happy employees. When I do annual reviews, the folks that I do annual reviews with are excited. Why? Because they know they're going to get the raise. Because I've had interactions with them. What do you talk about? A number of things. So right now I'm talking about, if you just joined, I'm talking about my book. I'm talking about dream catching. I'm talking about chasing dreams. Thanks so much for joining. I'm talking about being a person that has a dream and bringing it to life. But this series was about the ugly side of that process, the stuff you don't hear about. That's what this series is about. What I'm telling everybody about now is what's happening beginning tomorrow and going forward. I'm starting a series called The Mud Room, and it's about leadership and all the principles concerning leadership and performance improvement and how to have interactions with your team. I call it The Mud Room because when I come home at the end of the day, it's like I'm coming into the mud room. Everybody know what a mud room is? It's that room in your home designated for you to kind of take off your dirty, wet, grimy clothes, get out of them before you walk into your house, right? And leadership is that. If you have been an effective leader for a day, you should be decompressing when you come home because you should be in the trenches during the course of the day. Leadership is not sitting on a perch looking down your nose at your team going, I'm up here, y'all should stay down here because that strokes my ego. That's not leadership. You can lead from the front, you can lead from the back, but you need to lead from among the people that you are responsible for. They will respect you more, and I'll tell you more about that. So it's called The Mud Room because I want you to be out there getting involved with your team, having discussions, wiping noses, offering a shoulder for your team members to cry on, getting into their personal lives as much as they will allow you. Because if you don't help them manage their personal lives, their professional lives will be junk. Trust me when I tell you. the Mudroom. Look forward to that. And I got so much other stuff happening. Also, do me a favor, if you want to know more about me in detail, if you want, my degrees and all that jazz, go to my blog page, which is Encouragement is Key, right? That's the thing that I founded everything that I'm doing on, those three simple words, because I truly believe in encouragement is key. So there's tons of stuff out there. If you forget all of that, just Google James W. Falcon, because thankfully right now, 5 years plus in, my name has become my brand. So if you remember, if you don't remember, if you forget everything I just told you, Google James W. Falcon, like the bird, just like my Periscope account says, Falcon, and you'll find all of these things and more. Okay? Listen, that's the close of this particular broadcast. I've seen so many people come into this this Periscope broadcast, and I can't tell you how thankful I am for your time. Thank you for joining, for your time and your attention. This has been amazing. A couple of times during the broadcast and right after the broadcast, I have almost burst into tears. I'm 6'3", 270. I'm a big old boy in some respects, and I am as sensitive a dude as you could possibly be. I mean, I have to be pretty much, if you think about it. I have 4 girls, and so they've taught me how to be sensitive, right? Or at least that's what I'm going to credit them for, okay? So I have no problem crying. I saw my dad, huge man, my brother, huge man, saw these guys break down in tears, and that taught me very early on in life, it's okay to cry as a man. I am a man, and I don't need to qualify that. I'm just simply telling you, doesn't make me special. I just realized that it's okay to be sensitive. Sensitive means that I'm open to being touched by what's around me, by the people and the people around me. It makes me sensitive. I'm hoping you're sensitive too, my friend. And my guess is you are sensitive if you have dialed into this broadcast and you've stayed with me for any length of time. Thank you so much. James W. Falcon here. Do me a favor. First 5 people, first 5 people to hit my Encouragement is Key 2013 inbox. Thanks for joining. Gmail.com. I will send you an electronic copy of this particular book, my 8th book, 3rd book of poetry. I'll send it to you absolutely free. You get the PDF, the electronic version of my book. I'm planning to have a phenomenal Friday, and I hope you are too. Let's do this thing. Chase your dreams. Follow your dreams. Do the thing according to the vision in your head, your heart, and what's in your hand.